Hi, this is Sweet June coming back at you with another video. Um, it's kind of cold up here in Michigan today. It's kind of cool. Uh, Weather keeps going back and forth. Was real warm yesterday. Now today it's kind of cool, cloudy. I went to the gym yesterday. Our Planet Fitness just opened back up. And I went yesterday. I wanted to kind of film in there, but I was a little scared because wasn't sure if they were going to let me. Next time I go, I'm going to try my best to film and kind of show you you guys how they have it set up. But they got signs on the machines, on the treadmills and stuff, social distancing the machines, and they got make sure they got still got the same stations where you get your cleaner and to wipe off the machines, which you've always had to do that. But they look like they have a different solution, and you have to wear your mask in there. They have a sign on the door said it is required that you wear a mask. So I wore my mask. I was only in there for about maybe 45 minutes because I got on the treadmill, then I got on the back machine, and then I got in the massage chair. So I wasn't there that long. But when I went yesterday, it wasn't that many people there. They said they got 110 people capacity, so they're not going to let any more than 110 people in there. So they're limiting the amount of people that they're going to allow in there, and it's just basically taking more precautions. We got to wear a mask. It worked out pretty good for me yesterday. I got on the treadmill, uh, and everything. It was good to be back in the gym. I noticed, I definitely felt the difference in my body. I literally just that fast felt the difference in my body. When I got on the back machine, my back felt so much better because they have a back machine there, and it helps to strengthen your lower back muscles, and that's really helpful for me because I've been having some back pain lately, and um, it made a big difference. I felt so much better physically. Just that little workout I got in, I felt so much better physically. So it made a big huge difference. I felt a huge difference in my body versus when I'm trying to exercise on my own. As I've stated before, I don't do a very good job exercising on my own. I was getting out here and walking and stuff here and there and trying to do some things at home, but it's better. It's just better when I go to the gym. It's just better. It's just better. They got the machines, and so I'm gonna try to get in there at least 3 or 4 days a week and just take precautions when I go. Is making sure that wiped off the machine thoroughly before and after, which you've always had to do that. I mean, you've had to do that before when you so you just have to be more thorough now. And so I say it's okay to go to the gym and wear a mask, thoroughly wash the equipment off, and they got the machines, signs on the machines, social distance and everything. So let me know. Hit me up in the comment section if they opened up the gym in your city. Do you feel comfortable with going back to the gym? If you don't, or whatever, let me know. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know. Uh, anyway, with that being said, anywho, um, I don't know if you guys caught Jazz's video on someone called the police on her. Uh, and the police came to her house and literally walked right in her house. Somebody called the police, and just made me think. It just brought back to memory. It brought back to my memory that someone called the police on me when I lived in my apartment. Um, because she didn't know whether it was subscribers that had done that or it could be. I think it's the neighbors. I have a feeling that it's the neighbors. I have a feeling that it's the neighbors that probably called the police on her. It could be a subscriber that done it, but it most likely it may be the neighbors because I got the police called on me before. When I lived in when my oldest son was uh it was just I lived out to an apartment complex. I'm trying to make a long story short. I lived in an apartment complex uh It's no longer there. They tore it down, but uh, it was just me and my oldest son. I hadn't had my youngest son yet. We lived in an apartment first, and then I moved from the apartment to a townhouse. So I lived in two different units in that complex. And the first one was an apartment, 2 bedroom apartment that I lived in. And my oldest son, it was just me and my oldest son. I hadn't had my youngest son yet. He wasn't born yet. Um, and to make a long story short, he was being bullied. He was with a little boy he was hanging out with. He was being bullied. So he was coming in the house crying and stuff like that. Then he went back out and come to find out he stole a knife from the little boy's house. He just recently told me why he did that. Believe it or not, just recently told me why he gave me the full story on why he did that. And he said it was because he was being bullied. He got tired of the little boy bullying him. My thought was, why you was hanging around with the little boy then? Why would you be at his house if he's bullying you? You know? So kid logic. At that particular time when that happened, I kind of went crazy, a little crazy in my mind, because I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you go in someone's house and take a knife? What's wrong with you? So when I first heard him do that, he did that. Well, I started whooping his behind. Quite naturally, I'm like, I taught you not to steal. You don't go in people's house to steal, and then on top of that, you gonna take a knife? What's wrong with you? You done lost your mind? So I started whooping him. So he was crying for a couple of reasons. It was because he's being bullied, and because I was tearing that behind up. I was lighting that butt up, to put it mildly. And the neighbors heard me. I lived in the ground floor apartment. The neighbors heard me. They heard my son crying. And they never have all the facts as to why. And they called the police. And this was before social media. It was definitely the neighbors for me, because this was way before YouTube. This was like in the 90s, the mid 90s when this happened. So, was no YouTube, long before social media. We didn't have cell phones yet. So neighbors called the police on me. And the police came to my house. And when the police came to my house, I had an attitude. I'm going to be honest with you. I had an attitude. My first thought was, what the heck are you guys doing at my door? And I said, you know, uh, he said, the officer says, is there a problem? I said, I got Jazzy. I said, well, I'm disciplining my son. You got a problem with that? And he said, no, but we will have a problem if you don't let us have a talk with you. So I was like, okay, well, I want to go to jail. So the police come in and have a talk with me. And I told him, I explained to them the reason why my son was crying, and I was, disciplining him. I said, he did something he had no business doing, and, I taught him better than that. And, and I was disciplining my son. And so the cop told me, it's okay for you to discipline your child as long as you don't leave any marks. It was 2 police officers, and one of the police officers took my son outside and looked him over to see if he had any marks on him. Thank God he didn't have any marks on him. And I told the other police officer, I said, um, you rather for me to do it now? You rather for me to discipline and do what I have to do with him now than for him to go to jail later? I'd rather, because he's like, well, you could have, if he hadn't had any marks on him, then you could have went to jail. So I said, well, I'd rather go to jail for him. That's what I said. I said, I'd rather go to jail for him now than for him to go to prison later. I'm trying to keep him out of prison. Okay. Because he did something that he went in there, stole a knife. He had no business doing that. So I want to get the point across to him that that's not okay. I said, I'd rather go to jail for him now than for him to go to prison later. I'm trying to keep him out of prison. So you rather for me to do it now than for you guys to have to do it later. That's what I told the police officer. And it was one black one and one white one, I think it was. And the black one guy said, well, it's okay for you to discipline as long as you don't leave marks on him. And thank God there was not any marks. And my son said the police officer asked him some questions and stuff, and it was a scary situation because I said I could have went to jail, but you know, see, and that's the problem in the society today. That's the problem. The police, the system shortens parents' hands as far as disciplining the children. And I had an attitude because I was like, that ain't none of y'all business. What I'm doing with my son, I'm not abusing my son. I said that was none of the neighbor's business and it wasn't none of the cops' business. So it was by the grace of God that, there was no CPS follow up or anything because they didn't see any marks on my son. So, you know, but I felt quite justified at that particular time for disciplining him because he did something he had no business doing. And because I did put my foot down and I disciplined my son, he is a nice, productive, young, abiding citizen now. Good father and everything. So see, it had purpose. So I know how Jazz feels. I know how she feels. I've been through that before myself. But when I did it, when it happened to me, it was before social media. It could go either way for her. It could have been a subscriber. Then again, it could have been her neighbors. When you live in apartments, I'm gonna pray that she gets a house because when you have children, especially 4 kids, you need to be in a house. She needs to be in a house. I'm gonna keep her in my prayers and pray that she gets a house because when you live in apartments like that, you have nosy neighbors. Neighbors, they can hear everything. The walls are thin. They can hear everything. They can hear your kids crying. They don't know the whole story. They don't know why your kids is crying. They think that the children are being abused or something like that. But you could actually be trying to be a parent and discipline your kids. They don't know all the facts. So because they don't know all the facts, they call the police. So it is what it is. When you live in apartments, that's what you have to deal with when you live in apartments, when you have kids. So I pray that she can get into a house. When you live in a house, you have a lot more privacy. If you're disciplining your kids, ain't nobody gonna know nothing about it because you in your house. Your neighbors can't hear you. So that was my little story I wanted to share with you guys. If you new to my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and the notification bell. So every time you be notified, I do a video. You'll be notified every time I do a video. If you're already unsubscribed, double check and make sure you're still subscribed because they've been knocking subscribers off. Okay, till the next video. Peace and love. This is Sweet June.